Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something quite interesting you shared. It's a YouTube video showing a digital tool, Polypad,
Is that right?
in action at Conduit Academy.
That's one, yeah.
So our mission really is just to get a handle on what this Polypad thing is all about, why it might be, a bit of a game changer.
Exactly. The video, it features Miss Curl Sarah with two students, Grace and Jack. And while Polypad is often used for math, what's really fascinating, I think, is seeing its potential stretch way beyond just numbers.
Okay.
So we're going to dig into how it works and what sort of possibilities it opens up for learning, maybe even creativity.
All right, so the video kicks off with like a class opener, a math game.
Yeah, on a virtual balance scale.
Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
You've got cards, ace through 10, right?
Yeah.
And 2 are hidden on this scale. Grace and Jack, they have to figure out what they are.
And what's clever is how it mixes that familiar idea, the balance scale, with numbers. Ace is 1, 10's the max. Plus, they have, I think, 10 moves? Like rolling virtual dice. It's not just guessing. It's about developing a strategy.
And you can really see their initial thinking. Jack, he jumps in, suggesting 3, it's the highest card they can actually see.
Right.
But then pretty quickly, they reason out that since there are no duplicates showing, the hidden ones can't be 1 or 2. That's smart early deduction.
And that's where Polypad really shines, I think. It facilitates that kind of logical step-by-step thinking, the scale tipping up or down. That's instant feedback.
Yeah, confirms or denies their idea right away.
Exactly. It's so much more dynamic than just, pencil and paper equations.
So then they start using their moves, rolling the virtual dice. They get a couple low rolls, doesn't solve it immediately.
But it's not wasted, right? Because Grace asks to see the 3 they rolled again, and that's when they find out the total in the scale is higher than 6.
Okay, so that's the first big clue.
Yeah, and if you think about the learning there, Polypad brings in chance the dice, but also systematic gathering of info. The dice give them more puzzle pieces, but it's connecting those pieces to the visual feedback, the scale that pushes their understanding.
And they start, actively tracking the possibilities. Jack suggests adding 6 to their mental list because they know the total's under 12.
See, and the teamwork there is great too, building on each other's ideas.
Definitely.
And the way they talk through the options, it's really revealing. You hear them considering 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then they decide, okay, let's take 3 off the table as a hidden card possibility.
And bam, the scale shows higher than 9, narrows it right down.
Just 10 or 11 left for the total now.
It's like watching mini detectives at work. They try adding 1 mentally, then swapping for a 2. And that's when Grace just nails it, declares the total has to be 11.
And what's good there is the teacher, Miss Curl Sarah, she gently prompts Grace, okay, how did you get there?
Right, explain the thinking.
Yeah, even if it feels intuitive, saying it out loud really cements it for her and for Jack too. So they think, okay, what makes 11? 10 and 1, 6 and 5, 7 and 4, oh, and 3 and 8.
Right. And their next move is strategic again. Remove the 6 as a possibility, another clue from the scale, then try removing the 2.
And finally they land on it, 3 and 8, which adds up to 11.
Success.
Yeah. But it's not just about getting 11, is it? It's that whole journey of deduction that Polypad really helps them visualize and navigate.
Absolutely. That game was a really engaging way in, showing off the interactive side, how it makes math concepts, less abstract, more concrete with that visual scale.
Precisely. But like we said, the video shows that's just kind of scratching the surface.
Okay, so yeah, after they crack that math puzzle, Grace and Jack seem pretty buzzed about what else Polypad can do. And the first word out is coding.
Which immediately tells you, okay, this platform's got range. Jack then shares his screen, shows what he's been messing around with.
Yeah.
He's made this visual thing he calls a Christmas tree.
Okay, and how he builds it is interesting. He clicks, a number pops up and grows 1, then 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. And he points out, to get the next number, you have to click the previous number of times. It's such a hands-on way to get that doubling idea, that multiplication relationship.
And think about what's happening there. Polypad's letting him explore a really fundamental concept in, computer science iteration, exponential growth, but super visually.
Without writing lines of code.
Exactly. The pattern, the doubling, just becomes obvious through his clicks and seeing that tree grow. Very intuitive.
But then it branches out even more. Miss Curl Sarah mentions the company behind Polypad actually runs a music and art competition.
Yeah, twice a year for kids.
Which really hammers home the creative side, doesn't it?
Totally. It's a key point. This isn't just a STEM tool. And Jack then does a quick demo using fraction bars, another Polypad visual tool to explore making music.
Fraction bars for music. How does that work?
Well, he shows how you can, change the sound and the length of the beat associated with different fraction sizes.
Huh. So you can see the fractions, manipulate them, and then hear how those proportions might sound as rhythm. That's a cool connection.
It's a really powerful bridge, right? Connecting different ways of understanding things. We also hear Grace is interested in something called garden tiles.
Okay.
We don't see a full demo, but it suggests, more visual representation possibilities, maybe for spatial reasoning, patterns, geometry. You could imagine moving virtual tiles around.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Jack pulls up even more stuff he's made fraction art that he's arranged into a museum.
Yeah, I love that. It just screams open-ended creativity. It's not about one right answer anymore. It's exploration, expressing yourself.
Turning fractions into art.
It shows real ownership, doesn't it? When a student takes something like fractions and makes a museum out of it, that's deep engagement. They're proud of what they understand and what they've created.
And finally, Ms. Curl-Sarek gives the teacher's view. She talks about Polypad being this visual way for kids to learn, but also how it helps her understand their thinking and lets her build on their individual strengths.
And that's huge for educators, right? Polypad offers this kind of window into the student's process, not just the final answer on a worksheet.
You see the steps, the reasoning.
Or even where the misunderstandings might be happening. That interactivity is gold for a teacher.
Okay, so let's try and pull together the main things we've learned about Polypad from this demonstration. It's definitely a versatile digital tool, goes way beyond just math problems.
Absolutely. Those interactive features are key. Moving things around, writing on the screen, the simulations like the scale and dice. It all makes for a much more sort of hands-on feel.
And it definitely seems to grab students' attention through things like that game we saw at the start. Game-based learning works.
For sure. But beyond just fun, it's really powerful for making abstract stuff visual.
Yeah.
We saw it with the scale for number sense, the fraction bars for proportions, and maybe music.
And Jack's coding tree thing for growth patterns.
Exactly. Visualizing concepts.
It also looked great for collaboration. Grace and Jack really worked well together on that math puzzle.
Definitely fosters that. And importantly, it really seems to encourage creativity, artistic expression even. Jack's Fraction Museum, that art and music competition.
Yeah, that's a big plus.
And wrapping it up from the teacher's side, it gives real insights into student thinking, how they approach things.
So if we boil it down, Polypad seems like this really dynamic tool. It can cater to different learning styles, apply across different subjects.
Makes learning way more interactive and visual. Yeah.
So this deep dive into that Conduit Academy video, it really gives you a fascinating peek at what a tool like Polypad can do. It really gets you thinking, doesn't it? How could an interactive, visually rich environment like this boost learning in other areas, maybe even outside of school?
That's a good question.
Could you see ways to use this kind of visual interactive exploration in your own work or areas you're interested in? It's definitely food for thought.
For sure.
This has been a really insightful glimpse into Polypad based on that demo. If it sparked your interest, we definitely encourage you to explore it further.